Welcome to Enjoy Fort Wayne. This episode is brought to you by the Wailanai Farmers Market and highlights the 350 vendors that make up the #1 market in the state of Indiana. Today we're talking to Dylan Westrick from Battle Clay Farms. He'll tell us what Battle Clay Farms is and how he got into honey. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and be sure to hit the notification bell on YouTube so you know when we drop new videos. So today, Dylan Westrick will help us enjoy Fort Wayne.
I'm Dylan Westrick with Battle Clay Farm.
Awesome. And so what exactly do you do? What is Battle Clay Farm?
Battle Clay Farm, I am a beekeeper out of Defiance, Ohio. So I obviously do beekeeping, but make a variety of products from honey to comb honey, a lot of different flavored creamed honeys, candles, and anything from basically my apiary.
Do you remember the movie My Girl with Macaulay Culkin?
No.
He dies from a bee sting, and it freaked me out, and I'm freaked out right now. You ever just run across people that just don't like bees?
Yeah, there's always people that either don't like them or they're scared of them, but, honeybees are usually pretty chill, and sometimes they'll get a bad rap for one reason or the other, or because people will mistake them for wasps, which are, not as nice.
Yeah, they're like terrorists.
Yeah.
So how did you get into bees? Like, take us through your very first experience and what that looked like.
So when I first got started, it was back in 2017. I'd planned on doing a small micro farm, growing certified organic produce, and then doing beekeeping. And over time, it just kind of became beekeeping. But anyways, as far as the beekeeping goes, locally in Defiance, there was the club. They were going to start a new beekeeping club, and they were doing classes, and that's where I learned how to beekeep. So it was like just a completely new experience for me.
So it's not that you had necessarily a background in that or anything. You're just like, oh, okay, I want to learn this.
I had zero background in growing not even gardening or beekeeping, none of it. It was all completely new to me. I taught myself how to grow the vegetables by, watching different podcasts, audiobooks, and videos. And then the beekeeping, I took a class and then just jumped in and did it.
That's incredible. So how did you, I thought, and most people getting to know this story, I think, would probably assume that, like, either you had a family member that did it and you learned from them, or you knew a friend, or like you knew someone. You completely just did this.
I did this on my own and jumped into it. Like, no one in my family does any of this. I mean, my previous experience was more military and commercial diving. And then I just jump up and decide to want to grow produce and beekeep.
That is fascinating. So I was excited to interview you and like learn a little bit, but like, I didn't know that. Like, that's, you understand that's a little crazy, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, there's
to hear that,
especially with the beekeeping, I know a lot of beekeepers that it's like a family business, so they do it, or they're several generations in. It's a lot different when you start from square one and buying all the equipment and actually doing the beekeeping and keeping them alive and then trying to create products from it and find your markets. It's a lot.
So I was going to ask you, tell me a little bit about life growing up. Did you think that you would be doing something like this? But obviously, if you didn't start until 2017, I think I have my answer. You didn't think that you'd be doing this.
No, my original plans were all military. I went to the Navy right after high school and had planned on a completely different career than what I'm doing now. But things don't always go as planned, but I can't complain because I love what I do now. I'm happy, and it's awesome.
So let's talk a little bit about being an entrepreneur. Had you ever, before 2017, had you ever done anything in that space, working for yourself and things like that?
No, I've always had different jobs and whatnot. I never really jumped up and, started a business before planning that in 2017.
Okay, so what was one thing about becoming an entrepreneur in 2017 that, looking back, you were like, I wish I would have known this, or man, I didn't know about this? Was there anything that
There's a lot actually, but one of the biggest, because I was planning in 2017, and then 2018 is when I officially started my business. But I will say one of the biggest things is things do not always go as planned, and things will go sideways, things will go wrong, and you have to just adapt and overcome and figure it out. Like, 'cause I had a lot of stuff go wrong, from vehicles breaking down to, money issues and all that. I mean, I took out a loan when I first started my business, so there's a lot.
Brewhound Bus is your chance to visit all the scenes you want to check out, from breweries to wineries and nightlife. Book your tour with Brewhound Bus. Go to brewhoundbus.com, let us pick you up from your house and drop you off home safely. Grab 12 of your friends and bring your own cooler on board. Book your next bachelor or bachelorette party, birthday, or friends night out with Brewhound Bus. Check out the weekday specials as well, only at brewhoundbus.com. What advice would you give someone who is looking to be an entrepreneur?
The advice I would give is, we're all scared when we're starting something new, for one. And two, if you wait for the right time, you'll be waiting the rest of your life. Sometimes you got to jump in and do it. And there's an example I usually like to give is, I read a book by Robert Greene, The 33 Strategies of War, where he talks about death ground. So in death ground, you basically end up forcing yourself into a position where you have to sink or swim or fight to survive. So if you're in a position to where you have no other choice but to succeed versus, well, you got an option, you can just quit and go to work another job. No, I mean, you got to jump in and do it and figure it out and just not quit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds like an interesting book.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting book, but it's just a easy reference to forcing yourself into a position to have to think outside the box, and it changes your mindset completely to where you would be a lot higher chance of success versus the mindset, is I can just walk away at any time.
What do you think the best thing is about being an entrepreneur and being able to work for yourself?
Besides working, I mean, just the fact that you work for yourself and create your own schedule, it's you get to create something from nothing. Like, this is whatever your business is, that's you. Like, for me, it's Battle Clay Farm. That's who I am. I can create my own products, and I can go anywhere within my business that I want as far as creating things. And then meeting people and going to events. It's the coolest thing ever. And you meet some of the coolest people too.
Yeah. I mean, you got to meet me, so. So Battle Clay Farms, I wanted to ask you about that. Can you tell us about the name? Or
yeah, I get that question a lot. So Battle Clay Farm, when I was planning my business in 2017, we had planted 380 trees surrounding our property to have like a windbreak.
And this is in Ohio?
Yeah, this is in Defiance, Ohio. So I wanted that windbreak because at the time I wanted to do certified organic produce, which I did get certified and all that, but the goal was to continue with that and have that as like a barrier in between the other fields and all that whatnot. Anyways, so our ground we have at my house is really heavy clay, and we hand dug all these holes, and there were several times where I actually needed a pickaxe to dig the holes because it was that bad.
Battle.
So yeah, and it was just battling the clay this entire time. So it just came to me. I'm like, well, I'll just call it Battle Clay Farm, and that's why like in the logo I even have the pickaxes and all that, because that's how it started. So it's almost somewhat of a joke, but it works though. And that's just, and also kind of went with being prior military, Battle Clay. It just kind of flowed with that too.
No, for sure. Okay, now I want to ask you more about the biggest thing that I see at the farmers market that you're at. When I see you there and I see a lot of the your bottles of the honey and stuff, so it always just, I'm fascinated of the story of the honey. Like, can you in layman's terms, like, can you kind of walk us through the bees and then how you jar it and like all that?
That'd be, I mean, with the bee, that's a whole conversation there, because there is a lot that goes into beekeeping and maintaining the bees, and then
But you do it all?
Yes, I do all the beekeeping and everything from taking care of the bees to extracting the honey, jarring the honey, making the cream honeys, making the candles. No, it's just me.
So let me ask you, what are all the products that you have? I mostly have seen the honey.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of it's honey or beeswax candles or wax melts. But one of the more unique things I do would be the creamed honeys. I do a lot of different flavors of them than probably any other beekeeper. I mean, I probably have over 30-something different flavors. And I also use all certified organic flavoring, so certified organic powders. So there's no fillers, nothing in it. It's just honey and then whatever flavoring that's in there. And then I do a lot of seasonal ones like pumpkin spice, spiced apple, chai, like just fun seasonal type stuff that, just thought outside the box and got creative with it.
What would sell? What do you know,
like the chai one was super popular, and literally I did that. Was it last year? And that was like a last minute. What would be a good Christmas type, end of the year flavor? I'm like, oh, chai and peppermint. So I tried them out, and chai was a huge hit. It was, it's just, you never know what's gonna sell or what doesn't.
Right. You got to try it.
Don't know until you try it.
Right. Okay, so tell me about some of the spots that you can find your product, like where if people want.
The main place obviously is the Westrick Farmers Market every Saturday.
How long have you been?
I believe it's like 3 years now.
Okay.
With you guys, and then I did the other Fort Wayne one before that.
Sure.
And as far as anywhere else, I'm in a lot of stores around town. Acacia's Journey, Taza Cafe, Faye's Cabinet, Raven's Wolf Emporium. And then in Ohio, I got a few places. One's Treasures of the Raven in Eden, Angela's Angels in Sylvania, and then a newer one is Indigo Mystics in Bowling Green. And I'm still trying to add more stores as I continue on this year. Really want to grow and expand and get out there more.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you like to do when obviously bees and honey and all this stuff takes up a ton of your time? Like, this is your business, it's your baby. But when you're not doing that, or if there's time that you're not doing that, what's one of your favorite things in this community to do?
In this community, travel around, try different restaurants as far as, around here. And then at home, usually if I'm not working, I'm with my daughter.
Awesome. So what is one thing about Fort Wayne? So you bring your business into Fort Wayne a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah, a lot, yes.
Why, what about Fort Wayne? Like, why did you choose to come into Fort Wayne?
Being not only a larger city, but also I felt that there was more opportunities and more support for local business than what I had where I was at in Defiance.
Really?
I did the farmers market in Defiance for my first year or two, and I just did not have a lot of luck there. If I wanted to succeed, I had to get out somewhere else, and that's kind of when I first came over here to Fort Wayne, and I really grew from there. So it's probably the best decision I ever made as far as in business.
Awesome. So yeah, it sounds like Fort Wayne's made a impact for sure.
Huge impact on my life, yes.
That's awesome.
People here are great, supportive. Customers are awesome. I mean, I look forward to the market every Saturday, even if it's just to see all my vendor friends or my customers.
Sure. So you haven't really, since you're not literally from Fort Wayne and you haven't been coming here a lot, I'll ask anyway, and just to see, is there anything about Fort Wayne that you see as a possibility of, like, is there anything that you see in Fort Wayne as a possible fork in the road? Like, hey, man, we need to make sure we don't fall into this trap. Or one thing I don't like about it is, like, is there anything that you see that this area should work on? Or is there anything that you see? I mean, it's different from an outsider, and you're not here a lot.
I mean, I'm overall really impressed with Fort Wayne as far as the city goes. So there's nothing that I would, off the top of my head, say to change.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
fair.
I mean, the parks are great. Restaurants are awesome. I have really no complaints.
Yeah. And especially come to this area for less than 5 years and not being from here, I would agree probably. I mean, it's a good situation to be able to come here.
Yeah.
And it's not far from, I know right where Defiance is at.
Yeah,
it's not too
it's
far.
It's like an hour drive. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so last question, and I never give you the softball and let you know ahead of time. This is always just right off the cuff.
All right.
And I want the genuine pause and like a little bit of reflection. I don't think you'll have an answer right away. Maybe you'll surprise me. But if we were to rent for you a billboard that was big enough and high enough that this entire community could see, and then they petitioned you to put the words on it, what would it say?
Believing you can get you halfway there. Which is literally...
And you surprised me where you had it right away.
It's literally on T-shirts I'm working on getting made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so believing with B-E, believing you can get you halfway there. Because for me, I mean, even starting a business, you have to believe in yourself to even jump in the water. So that's half the battle right there, is just having the faith and belief that you can do this and then just doing it. So that's what it would say, is believing you can get you halfway there.
So I went through my spiel trying to make it sound like you wouldn't have something to say right away. Mm-hmm. And then you just nailed it to make me look like a moron.
Well,
thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
And it was like perfect. That's like a perfect, like.
It's actually pretty fitting, so I can't.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I think that looked great on a billboard.
No, it would. That's great.
Especially just general motivation, even.
And like, if there was like a little picture of a bee and then it's spelled B-E-E, right?
Yeah.
Like, geez. You're in the wrong. You should be in the marketing.
Well, part of having a business is marketing.
That's fair. You have to market yourself.
Yep.
So, well,
you got to stand out. You got to market yourself. You got to be different.
You got to be different.
Be different.
Be yourself. So awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, and good luck to you. Let us know. Tell us where we can find you as far as social media or...
Social media, I am on Facebook for my business page, Instagram, and I even have a TikTok. I don't have a lot of videos on there, but that's something I really want to work on this year, is better social media presence and doing more of that fun videos and pictures and all that.
Sure.
And then my website is through my Square. It's battleclayfarm.square.site, which that'll have all my products and kind of just brief info about them and whatnot. And you can order online as well.
Great. Okay. Thanks.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This podcast is brought to you by Coraggio Media. The show is edited by me and sponsored by the Westrick Farmers Market. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest updates. We will see you next week, where we will be sure to show you how you can enjoy Fort Wayne.